Democrats, they say they support genocide with a smile, while the Republicans are just straight up genocidal. I don't give a fuck. Let's kill them all. So the point of the segment is two ways to sell genocide: the liberal Democrat version and the Republican conservative version. So let's start with MSNBC first. I'm gonna show you guys how the liberals sell a genocide, and this is the kind of gentle language that tricks the average dumbass Bernie Sanders bro into believing that liberals are somehow better than Republicans. But despite the different tones you're going to hear here, what these two segments advocate is for the same exact fucking end game. The premise that Israel has the right to commit their genocide on the Palestinian people right now. That is what both these segments are going to argue. Here's the liberal version of it. And to me personally, and leave a comment. I'm interested to see which one is going to discuss you the most. Both of these segments disgust me. Both of them do. I think you guys will choose because they both very polarizing. I want you guys to tell me which one is worse. But they got the same message. So listen to this.
Welcome back. In the days since Hamas terrorists stormed into Israel earlier this month, a flood of videos and photos and misinformation on what happened have filled social media, making it difficult for people from around the world to sort out what is the truth. Mandana Dayani, an activist and the co-founder of the nonpartisan organization I Am a Voter, addressed that major issue and more in an Instagram post that has now been viewed tens of millions of times.
So this lady here went viral for this video that liberals and genocidal Zionists loved. Now I watched the video and I was in horror watching this video. I think it's going to explain for itself. Listen to the liberal. Now, this is the liberal genocide apologist, the liberal Zionists, who many are not going to come to the conclusion that they are as aggressive as Fox News. I don't think a lot of you guys are going to come to that conclusion. I'm just telling you guys personally, my personal beliefs. I'm not even telling you guys to feel this way. My personal belief is I view both of them as disgusting. Because wait till you guys see the Fox segment. Look at this video here.
Run under the same regime that is supporting Hamas right now. And every single morning we were forced to chant death to America, death to Israel. And it's almost like shocking to watch these Americans support an organization that wants them dead and hates every single thing about their values. You sit there and repost terrorist propaganda and somehow think that that makes you an activist or someone with some sort of deranged liberal values. You're going to rallies in Montreal, New York, Paris, and London and celebrating the death of hundreds and hundreds of Jews that were slaughtered on a religious holiday.
You guys see how she is saying the same thing Republicans are saying that you just showed. She's conflating people who are protesting for a free Palestine for people who support the slaughter of innocent civilians. You see, she's saying the same thing Republicans are saying, but with a liberal tone. I'm a liberal. I'm simply. And you're gonna see this more throughout this interview. And if you guys missed the beginning, because the beginning was kind of muffled and cut off, she explained how she's a refugee of Iran. CJ, she's here to tell you why the state of Iran is so evil and why the United States is great.
Fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
She's one of those people that sell out her own people and then join the West and become a celebrity in order to advocate war against her own state. You know the DPRK people that do that, the anti-China people that do that.
Yeah.
She's the Iran version of that. And if you guys don't know, there are Iranian liberals that do this all the time. I'm from Iran. They're a tyrannical regime. We need to do regime change. They're neocons and the same as the Republicans here. So I'm going to go back just a little bit. I'm going to let her part finish here. Once again, to me, when I see this, it's going to be as unhinged as anything you see on Fox. Because she's saying what people on Fox is saying, but she's trying to say it with a lens of liberal credibility. So let me continue here. You guys just pick up what I'm talking about here soon.
Montreal, New York, Paris, and London, and celebrating the death of hundreds and hundreds of Jews that were slaughtered on a religious holiday in their sleep. You think this is liberal? You think this is liberation? You think this is resistance? Where is your humanity? What is happening here?
As a child, Mandana.
You see her liberal language, CJ?
That went viral?
Yeah.
That went viral?
Yep.
I'm so out of touch with these
That
liberals.
erupt.
I'm so out of touch.
I let them explain,
These
CJ. I'm gonna let them
liberals.
explain the viral part. They about to explain that here very soon.
With her Persian Jewish family before being granted asylum as a refugee in the United States. And she joins us now. I should point out that that video on your channel was viewed 15 million times. It was shared. It has been viewed ultimately in its totality up to 50.
Do you guys really believe this shit was viewed 15 million times without the State Department and social media companies boosting this shit?
Not. That's
She
why I
got
said that
15
went viral.
Yeah, she got 15 million views. They're gonna say she in total is like 30 to 50 million because she spewed this liberal Zionist garbage. And if you think the video was bad, wait till you see this interview. Because of course, Morning Joe see this viral Zionist garbage, and the first reaction like, yes, Queen! Liberal apology for genocide. We must bring her on. You guys see the people that they must bring on? And there's no one that can convince me that she's not a State Department cutout. You guys see the backstory? She's an Iranian refugee that's being boosted by the State Department, and now she just so happened to be on Morning Joe. You guys think
That's
she's
what I
not
was
a
about
State
to
Department?
tell you. I was just about to tell you, this is not at all some happenstance. This is a plant, and this is the backstory they're giving you. A certain viral video that they can prop up and amplify and do what they do all the time. And now she's on Morning Joe, the show. Nick, understand, and we do this we say this about Morning Joe. This is the show. You want to know what's going on in the minds of the ruling class and what they want to deliver as a message, you watch Morning Joe. That's who you watch. So this is the message they want to deliver.
Amy Park. I always forget her name. That's the famous, like she get dragged, like people like Rogan and many other people gave her credibility, but her claims was so ridiculous. She now is like a meme. Like she's the person that said in North Korea, people push trains by hands. And then when she said that on the Joe Rogan podcast, everyone was like, all the dumb morons who believed her, like CJ, there were a lot of dumb morons like Joe Rogan who believed her up to that point. And then when she said that, they were like, oh, we've been listening to a crazy person this entire time. That's her. Like they have all these privileged plants, these refugees that come from states that the United States that are one that always advocate against the regime. But anyway, I think you guys will pick up on that as I play. I'm gonna play it. It's obvious this person is a fucking plant. It's the most obvious plant ever. And she's the liberal version of the person who's selling genocide. And I'll explain to you guys why I view these people as equally disgusting personally. And I don't think a lot of you guys to agree with me, to be honest. Once I show you guys the Fox News you got clip, you guys are going to be disgusted. But I view both as disgusting. This psyop that they're doing here. But let's listen here, and now I'm going to go to the Fox clip.
50 million times. You really struck a chord. What prompted you to just put it all out there and go there and say that?
I woke up on October 7th and saw the worst atrocity I've seen since 9/11. And I didn't really know how to process it. It was so painful. And then I went on my social media and, I'm an activist. I've worked shoulder to shoulder with so many people in Congress and universities, activists, and they were either silent or they were starting to side with Hamas, or they were starting to blame the Jews or their government for the terrorism. And that's just not something that we do. We don't blame victims for terrorism. And I couldn't understand this whole it's because of this, it's because of this land dispute. There's no reason that ever makes that okay.
CJ, she don't understand. I don't understand. I said it so many times on the show. You guys know that 2022, last year, was the deadliest year ever for Palestinians. Does she care about that? Was she crying about that? Was she crying when Israel raided mosque? Literally committing the most colossal sins and aggressions against Muslims that you can. I can't imagine because I'm secular, I'm not religious. But imagine you got motherfuckers invading your holy place of worship, and they are forced to die quietly. That's what they want them to believe. I'm not even religious. I can't even imagine the fury I would have with you guys raiding mosques and attacking innocent civilians. And she's like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Because you're a plant. You're a privileged plant. Of course you don't get it. But let's continue.
We didn't get a day to be upset. I mean, there were hostages. We were finding out information about beheadings and mass rapes. And instead of mourning, instead of checking on our families, we had to go on the internet and defend our dignity from misinformation. And I have never seen that happen before. And it does feel like that happens when Jews die. And when you see the Hamas doctrine, which explicitly says it calls to obliterate Israel and kill Jews.
She is saying the same damn thing. Now, Jesse Waters is going to say some crazy shit too, but he says it more aggressively, right? But you guys see the messaging is the exact same. If you protest for a free Palestine, you support Hamas. Hamas want to kill all Jews, but which is not true. Which is not true. They want to kill the Zionists, which they have the legal right to do because the fucking inhumanity the Zionists has put them through. Because of the fact that almost everyone in Palestine knows who's been killed by Israeli forces. And if you want to get mad at them for saying Jews or whatever, you understand that Gaza knows nothing but Gaza. Many Palestinians know nothing but Palestine. They see the Zionist entities and they may conflate that with Jews. But when Max Blumenthal and many other pro-Jewish free Palestine people go to Palestine and Gaza, are they killed? Are they going after Katie Hopper, Max Blumenthal, and all these Jews that speak out against Israel? They do not. So they go after the Zionists who support their oppression, which is their right. That is their right. But they saying, oh, Hamas will kill all Jews, including the ones who want to free Palestine, CJ. That's what they want you to believe. So the same thing that you hear on the right, she is saying, but she's saying with the aura of a liberal. So I'll let her finish. I'll play another
complete psyop. This is a complete psyop right here. And what this is what this is supposed to say. They see the protests. They see. So this is a young person. This is a young person who is saying, no, I don't believe this. I believe this. You get what I'm saying? So that's what this is. This is meant to combat all the protests that we're seeing, pushback that we're seeing in the polls with Joe Biden and the protests we're seeing on college campuses.
Yeah,
this is
so I'll play just a little bit more of this just so you guys can hear the rest of her ridiculous argument. No need to play the rest of the full thing. Remember the segment, we're showing you guys the liberal version. I hope you guys see why I find this disgusting. This is a very advanced psyop where they're saying the same thing the right is doing, but she's saying it in a liberal way. She's like, well, advocating for Palestinian liberation, that's not liberal. Supporting my genocide is, for some reason. I'll let her finish her thought, and then we can get our final thoughts on this and move on.
Doctrine, which explicitly says it calls to obliterate Israel and kill Jews. I cannot understand how people would defend a terrorist organization.
Yeah, you've read it.
Israel is a terrorist state.
Response to this. A lot of people reaching out to you. You've been busy ever since you put this out there.
Because liberals love her. But once again, I will aggressively push back against this because I have no manager they can call anymore, at least. I know some people are upset about it. No manager you can call anymore. No one that you can report to. There's no way they can cancel me. So I'm a straight up say it. I'm like, Israel is a terrorist state. She said, how do people apologize for terrorists? You apologize for the state that where Benjamin Netanyahu says it's okay to bomb hospitals. Like, he said that in the past. People straight called for genocide the Palestinian people. The country that is out of compliance with international law, fam. The only reason they're not quite literally considered a terrorist state, CJ, is because of the United States and the UK. I don't understand why people can defend this terrorist state of Hamas. Hamas are not the terrorists. You guys know that? Ooh,
when they say stuff like that, I can't see why people defend a terrorist. I'll be like, yeah, I know Israel. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I just go along with that, but I make sure they understand. No, it's
and
Israel.
I will say it to their face, and I'm gonna cancel like a motherfucker. Get out your own travel. Hamas is not terrorists. They're not the terrorists. Israel is the terrorists. Do you guys know? According to the UN Charter, you have the right to armed resistance against a terrorist rogue apartheid regime like Israel. If you have an apartheid that you have the right to resist them. So why do you guys think the United States always block those UN resolution proposals in order to prevent Israel from literally being defined as a terrorist state, which would give Palestinians the legal right to defend themselves? So I'm not going to set the frame of Hamas as terrorists. They're doing what the UN Charter said they should do. And they're engaging in the rules of engagement that Israel started, where Israel targets civilians. Hamas, that's all they know. They fight an enemy that's been targeting a civilian their entire life. So what they're going to do? The same thing that Israel did, because they defined the rules of engagement. And I've been saying to CJ loud as hell, waiting for someone to challenge me on this. On Twitter, 103,000 followers. These tweets getting thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. And no Zionists ever say anything about this, CJ, because they know I got them checkmated here. Because I am not making up ridiculous revolutionary laws. I am quoting stuff that is in their book. And that's why I would say on Morning Joe. And how would they dispute that? Aren't you the lawyers? You're the lawyers, but you don't know the law? They do. They willingly spread propaganda. So I just want to see her response. Then I'll move on because I don't want
Donnie,
to
I
say
saw you
long. So I just want to see her speak one more time, and then we move on.
nodding your head to a lot of what Mandana had to say.
Donnie Deutsch guy is just...
Actually, no. Yeah, he's himself, but we don't have to hear from him just for the sake of time.
He is crazy. That guy.
All right, so he's gonna say a lot of crazy stuff, but he only speaks for 50 seconds, and then she speaks again. So I'm gonna
I like it's entertaining though. It's entertaining. He's just you talking about privilege. Around here. You talking about privilege, boy.
Yeah. All right, so I'll wrap up around here. So maybe 3 minutes. I'll let a lot of this play, especially him. I'll let a lot of this play. I want you guys to get more context.
What you're saying, which seems so revolutionary, should be matter of fact and good for you. And as you said, we're only 19 days from 1,400 Israelis being slaughtered, massacred, beheaded, raped. And, just if I go backwards a little bit in the past, and I think of images.
They're just making stuff up.
A young woman holding up a sign that says, clean the world from Jews, ethnic cleansing, and a group of young Jewish students huddled in a library, afraid as a mob is pounding anti-Semitic chanting outside. When I think about the past,
so he's just making shit up.
Berlin in 1939.
I'm gonna let Tom
making shit up. New York City,
like this is making shit up
on Cooper Union campus. And people need to remember, Israel is not fighting the Palestinians; they're fighting Hamas, a terrorist, Nazi-like, ISIS-like organization. We can't forget that.
Tell us about the response you've got.
As this person points out, Israel is killing UN staff. It's being killed by Israel. But they're not the terrorist state here. Is Hamas killing UN officials, CJ? I'll just check in. I didn't hear anything.
What Donnie had to say, and also what your call to action is from your perspective.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I was born in Iran, right? I was Iranian. I looked Iranian. My family had lived there for thousands of years. And then one day the Islamic regime takes over and I'm a Jew and I have to flee my homeland. And that has happened to hundreds of thousands of Jews that were in diaspora throughout the Middle East that have been forced out. And so I don't think people understand what Israel means to us because we had nowhere to go. I believe that my safety and security is inextricably linked to Israel, and that if Israel didn't exist tomorrow, I literally, despite living in Los Angeles, think that I would die. And the only reason
she
living in Los Angeles.
That was so stupid that she literally could not stop herself from saying, well, other than the fact I live in LA, other than this giant thing that contradicts what I just fucking said. What? I can wrap this on this part, dude. That's fucking glorious, man. I don't have to explain why that's unhinged, right? I live in LA, but Israel being gone is going to make me endangered. And I made this argument before I wrapped the liberal segment on this. Israel is a state that makes things more unsafe for Jewish people because people who I do not agree with and I condemn with every ounce of my fiber in my being, these people will inflate Jews with Israel, and people will be victims of hate crimes because of what the state of Israel do, something I highly condemn. So the state of Israel will make you unsafe. The crimes that make you unsafe. So the state of Israel didn't exist. You'll be safer in LA if they didn't exist. Israel and Zionism make Jews unsafe. Israel, you have people in Israel being taken hostage. Their hostages are being killed by the Israeli government. They don't want the hostages back. They kill their own hostages. So that's Israel making things unsafe for Jews because they kill their own hostages. You have anti-Zionist Jews, anti-genocidal Jews in Israel that protest against their own government, and then they get locked in cages after being beaten by the IDF. So what is that? That is Israel making life unsafe for Jewish people. You guys understand? Everything they're saying is the exact opposite. So I spend a little bit more time on this one because I think the Fox News version is shorter. You see, this is only a 2-minute clip. This was posted about 2-3 days ago, but I literally could not. I was gone. I took 3 days off, so I could not do a segment. Like, this is probably the craziest shit you would hear. That's why I say, like, both of these clips disgust me, because you heard the liberal way of selling genocide, liberal way of selling Zionism. Now you guys gonna hear the batshit right-wing, unapologetic way of selling genocide. Which is why I don't think most of you guys are going to agree with me when I say I think both are disgusting. I think they're disgusting for different reasons. I think what the liberal way is more effective. Like, when you have this psyop, we have this pretty woman, right, come on and pretend that she care about liberal values, that she support apartheid and genocide. I think that's more effective. I think that's probably why it scares me and frustrates me. This here is not effective. Like, I think this shit right here helps the Palestinian cause, because everyone else who is rational mind outside the West hears this shit, CJ, and they like, what the fuck? So I let it play, because this is probably the craziest shit I ever heard. And I am not exaggerating here. Listen to this clip of Jesse Waters.
I don't think we can have a Palestinian state at this point. I've had it with the Palestinians. I've given up on the Palestinians. If I was in Israel, I wouldn't be talking about a Palestinian state right now. I don't think Joe Biden should be talking about a Palestinian state right now. And I don't like how people tried to differentiate between the Palestinians and Hamas. To me, I see people with guns. That's Hamas. The people without the guns are the Palestinians. They believe the same thing. The Palestinians hire Hamas to run their government. You poll them, they all love killing Jews. It's in their charter. They say they believe in suicide bombings. Every time a Palestinian refugee goes to another country, it doesn't work out so well for the other country and for those Palestinians. No one wants them. You don't see Egypt opening up their doors. You don't see Jordan opening up. You don't see the Saudis. Why don't they want the Palestinians, Dana? I think we all know why they don't want the Palestinians, and it's not working out, having these Palestinians and Hamas right next door to the Israelis. So time is running out for Netanyahu. I don't know why they're taking so long with this ground offensive. I would have struck, obviously. I have no military experience.
Yeah.
There, Jesse Waters unapologetically calling for the genocide of the Palestinian people. And you know how liberals are trying to do this thing where, like, you saw the last statement, she pretty much said if you support Palestinians, you support Hamas. But she does it in a Weasley way where she don't straight out outright say it. She said, well, if you support protest for a free Palestine, you support Hamas. No, Jesse Waters straight out saying, no, every Palestinian is Hamas, all these motherfuckers gotta die. And so you guys understand, Fox News is the most watched corporate news show by far. Jesse Waters has thousands of times more influence than we do. And you guys wonder why we look at white America as a whole and we're not horrified as fuck? Because this is a normal guy. This is a guy walking around, Jesse Waters. Oh my God, he's a guy of great prestige. He's a guy we should respect. This guy is as unhinged as it comes. But he's a respectable journalist. He's a respectable person in white America. Meanwhile, we're over here looking at this shit in horror. Black and brown people looking at this shit in horror, fam.
Yeah. Yes,
and then they got the nerve to say our community is violent, CJ. They say, look at the black community. The black community is so violent. You motherfuckers advocate for genocide. And that's normal. This shit is normal. This guy is a respectable anchor in America. But we're the violent community, CJ. Because we got people in poverty hustling. He's rich as fuck, advocating for genocide. Comfortable as fuck, advocating for genocide. Like, just out of his passion. He just passionately wants them dead. And is he someone who is put in a corner? Is he someone who viewed as an extremist? Is he banished by white America? No, he's a millionaire paid by white America money. You know what I mean? So when people are like, oh my God, you see this random black guy who committed a crime over there? And I'm like, yeah, we don't fuck with them. That's why we support his ass being in prison, right? Meanwhile, our country uplifts this motherfucker to a millionaire because he's a psychopath. Yes. And you guys don't understand why I have a deep disdain for who our country is? The fact that this guy can even exist. When people mad at Jesse Waters, no, I'm mad at the fact this guy can even exist. Any country that can make this guy a millionaire, someone who's respectable, someone who's more respected by even liberals than we are. Liberals think he's a more credible person than we are. He's a more credible source of information than we are. But he's a psychopath. CJ, anything you want to add before I finish? Because like this is crazy.
No, I did see the whole version. You and I watch a lot of the same. We know where to go to get some of the same. Jesse Waters on Fox. There's a couple of people on Fox you want to watch, even though if it's hard to watch, he's one of the people that's hard to watch because his rhetoric is always this. It's always at this high level. But Palestine, and we talked about this before, Palestine, one of those issues that for us in particular, Black people, is, man, this is one of those issues. This is unhinged. This is so crazy. Me hearing this, it's funny you said what you said, because what I hear is I'm hearing 1875, right after supposedly the Emancipation Proclamation. I'm tired of this damn Reconstruction. Fuck this Reconstruction. That's why it ended early. This is exactly what happened. I'm tired of this protecting these Black people. They're not doing this. They're not doing this. Look, they don't want to work. They don't want to work. They're comparing it to slavery. Remember, this is how we get the whole lazy trope. Because we're not working 16 hours for free, now we're doing 10 hours. That's lazy. So, but anyway, I can go on a rant, but
yeah. So
this is what I heard. This is what I heard, though, Nick, when I'm hearing Jesse Waters. I'm hearing the explanation of Jim Crow and Black codes. That's what I'm hearing. But go ahead.
Do you remember when the analogy I did? What State Department goon was covering? I forgot who it was. Anthony Blinken, probably. I think it was Blinken.
Could have been Anthony.
I told you guys that that Blinken is the Joker, fam. You know what I mean? Joker, the Kingpin is Biden. Like, you know, these big villains they make in comic books, who usually have unrealistic, villainous motivations. This guy is the Joker. Like, this is a monologue that if I heard in like the MCU, like if I watched Marvel and I saw a villain give a monologue like this, I'm like, yep, I'm out of here. This is unrealistic writing.
That's Joker. That's the guy with all the makeup, saying crazy shit, twirling a gun in his hand. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that's him.
So do you guys want to listen to his Joker speech again? We're almost done. Like, you guys, they're clipping not long. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. Listen to the Joker monologue. Like these, I view them as the Joker. They're Lex Luthor. Like the Lex Luthor and Joker, they're not realistic characters. We know that. That's why it's a comic book. That's why it's a movie. But who are the people who are really that fucking evil? This guy. You guys will hear, like, if you guys don't believe me, imagine a Lex Luthor voice over this guy. Right? Do like in your mind, dub over the Joker over this guy's speech right now.
Hire Hamas to run their government. You poll them; they all love killing Jews. It's in their charter. They say they believe in suicide bombings. Every time a Palestinian refugee goes to another country, it doesn't work out so well for the other country and for those Palestinians. No one wants them. You don't see Egypt opening up their doors. You don't see Jordan opening up. You don't see the Saudis. Why don't they want the Palestinians, Dana? I think we all know why they don't want the Palestinians, and it's not working out, having these Palestinians and Hamas right next door to the Israelis. So time is running out for Netanyahu. I don't know why they're taking so long with this ground offensive. I would have struck, obviously. I have no military experience, but I'm talking about there's a certain amount of goodwill that's built up. There's a certain amount of political capital that the West will allow Netanyahu in the wake of this horrific attack. Every day that goes by and they don't move in on the ground and root out these terrorists in their little labyrinth under in the command and control, the decapitation strikes, it's another day where the United Nations, where the Arab League, and some of these skittish American politicians are going to say, you know what, let's have a ceasefire. Let's just wait. Let's stop. Let's just stop. And if they don't go in hard and they don't go in decisively and they don't have the time to go in and root out these terrorists, then they're not going to do it. And then we're going to be back again 5 years later. There's going to be another horrific attack here.
So this is the slave owner who's saying that fucking slavery boat, that guy's a motherfucking problem. No, we need somebody to go into that slave quarters and get that motherfucker out right now. You scared you're going to be squeamish because there's kids in there and we got to behead the kids. This is who he would be. This is who he would be.
You guys
Disgusting.
know what he's saying, right? What I think you guys are smart enough to pick it up. I know you guys did, but what he's saying here is so crazy because he mentioned the skittish politicians, not many of them. You guys know I'll cover this tomorrow. The Senate unanimously voted in support of Israel, including Bernie Sanders, and said they had the right to defend themselves, meaning they got the right to commit genocide. So what he says in the beginning, not really true, but look at his point. He says there's a certain amount of political capital that was built up. What is he saying there? He's saying that so many people were shot by October 7th, we got a shield in order to commit genocide. And he's saying, bro, Netanyahu, you better hurry the fuck up because eventually people are going to wake up to the amount of people that you're killing. So you need to fucking get it done. You need to finish the final solution. You need to finish the final solution before people wake up and realize what's going on. That is what he's saying. He said, hurry up before people conscious catch up to them.
Right.
Which, once again, his premise is wrong because only the U.S. and U.K. are supporting Israel. Like, people are condemning them en masse, right? So he's wrong on the premise, but that's what he's saying. And what's even more unhinged is we know why Benjamin Netanyahu is not doing a ground invasion yet. You did a great breakdown. This one of my days off. You did one of your segments talking about how they're worried about they're going to get their ass kicked by Hezbollah.
Yeah.
In Hamas, and they're wondering how much the U.S. is going to support them. So there's actually a technical neocon reason for why they're not going on the ground. But this psychopath found a way to criticize Netanyahu to his right as Netanyahu is committing a genocide. Nigga, that's a gold trophy if I ever seen it. That's an accomplishment. You somehow criticize someone to their right as they're committing a genocide. Now, to round out this segment here, I told you guys, I think most of you guys have viewed the Fox segment as the most unhinged, right? And I understand why you view it that way. But you guys mentioned how he brings up Hamas and supporting Hamas, and if you support the ceasefire, you're supporting Hamas. That's the same premise that the liberal woman is saying. You see how he spread the lies about beheading babies and all this stuff, the stuff that we debunked? That's the same lie that the liberal woman is saying. Yeah. You guys see how he paints a ceasefire in such a negative light? That's the same way the liberal woman said. The liberal woman got mad at the people protesting. What are the people protesting for? A ceasefire. If you call for a ceasefire, now all of a sudden you evil and you are against her right to exist now. So both of them are saying the same thing, fam. Jesse Waters is unhinged, and he is the least effective messenger. Because as I show you, when most people see this clip, and this clip went viral worldwide,
yeah,
he's not effective because people see him, they're like, Jesus Christ. They see the beautiful Iranian woman, they're like, oh man, what? It's not liberal to support liberation? Damn, you looking, yeah, okay, I see that.